Alright, so we should be live on the stream now.
Alright, should I do a countdown?
Yeah, just count me down.
Alright, sounds good. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello guys, my name is Jdlinkmaster101, and this is an any percent speedrun of Zelda Twilight Princess. I think this is a very cool speedrun for many reasons. It's got tons of sequence breaks, at the same time as having a lot of cool strategies for all sorts of dungeons and bosses and general stuff like that. The first thing we're going to be doing here is I'm going to break the game right off the bat. So I'm going to do two things here. First, I'm going to use this rock to get out of this gate, and then I'm going to make my way across this bridge and go right here, and we're set up for that. So if you're wondering what's going on here, I'll try to explain it for you as I go. Basically, I just reset the game on the same frame as I voided out by jumping off of a bridge, and that respawns me with control on the title screen of the game. And the title screen of the game uses its own separate save file, kind of like a dummy file, so that the game can make that title screen happen. And that gives me the tunic, the Orden Sword, and the Hylian Shield right away. So that basically skips a lot of the intro part of the game. So I'm going to be getting the lantern here. So we have the lantern now, and I'm going to be heading back towards this cave. I bonked right away, that's awesome. Okay, so I bonked twice. That is amazing. I'm going to roll through this cave real quick. I don't know if it seems dark to you, it should be good, but I need the lantern so I can just burn these webs and make my way through. So I need to get a small key here, and I'm just going to roll across this area to get into a very small cave and just grab the key real quick. Also, rolling is really fast. Nice. I'm through that area now. That's what I needed the key for, to open that gate, of course. I'm going to save a kid named Tallow from a cage with a monkey. And then we're gonna do goat herding, which is painful. It's kind of an annoying part of the run, but it's required. So basically I'm going to do a small minigame after this where you herd goats, and there are 20 of them, and you have to do it right, otherwise like goats will run off and it becomes harder to get them into the barn that you want them to go into. So there's that sequence, the intro. I can just mash text really quickly by hitting A and B back and forth really quickly. Yeah, the timer should be fine. I wouldn't worry about that. Like, if the timer starts early, it'll end early, and so on. So here are all the goats you can see. I'm gonna herd them so that I can leave this place. And then after that, I'm going to get the Iron Boots item really early, because the Back in Time glitch, that's the name of the glitch I did at the beginning, where I reset the game. That's what it allows you to do. It activates a flag. The dummy file has a flag activated that gives you Epona earlier than you should have her freely. And that lets you get the Iron Boots early because that's what that trigger does. That was actually a really good goat, so I'm happy with that. So, in order to get the Iron Boots, sure, we can go into Bo's house early and get them, but we have to wrestle for it. Wrestling is dumb. I don't like it, but it's fun. Anyway, like it's got RNG to it. That's why it can be really iffy sometimes. Basically, you have two options or three options. You can sidestep, you can slap, you can dodge and then push. You can one cycle him with a single push. If you manage to slap him, you have to be lucky for it, but you can slap him, and if you mash quickly enough, you can push him off the ring in one go. And that's what I always go for, but sometimes he dodges you, and he'll push you back. But the faster you mash, generally, the easier it is to win. So we'll just see how this goes. Bo's walking in there now. His name is Bo. I don't need to hear his instructions again. Skip this cutscene. Okay. He dodged me, but you can mash quickly too. I'm in kind of a bad situation here. It's bad when he like avoids all of your A attacks. Okay, we got it. You have to do this twice. There are 2 rounds before he gives you the boots, which means you have to be even luckier. We'll go for another 1 cycle here. I wasn't mashing quickly enough, but I could have gotten it there. It's alright though. Sometimes I can only do so much mashing. Not even bad. Alright, so I have the Iron Boots now. I'm gonna get them from this chest. And once I leave the house, I'm going to make a save. I'm gonna save over this file and then just keep going. I'm going to be making 2 saves for a bit, and those are gonna set up a glitch later, similar to the first one I did. So I'm going to go to the castle sewers, and I'm going to be a wolf for the first time. And I'll just make my way through that area. And after that, there's a trick called Sword and Shield Skip. Sword and Shield Skip is required if you do Back in Time, because Midna wants you to get the sword and the shield from Orden Village, which I was just in. However, I can't, since Back in Time messes up the state that Orden is in, and you can't get the sword and shield from it. But Midna's gonna still want you to get them, so you have to actually get around that using Sword and Shield Skip to proceed with the game. It's one of the harder tricks to learn. There's a cool little thing you can do here. It doesn't save much time, but it's cool. Box breaker. I don't know why I keep missing it. I've been missing it lately. It's not even hard. But you can break that box before the cutscene starts. It saves a massive 2 frames. It basically means the difference between PB is what I'm saying. Bonked into the wall. How many times have I bonked into the wall this one? Like 3 times. That's sick. So we're just going to be using a little bit of movement to get through this place as fast as possible. We have to raise and lower the water level twice. So that's the last time we're changing the water. I just did a dash cancel there. What that does is it gets rid of the cooldown that you need to dash again. If you dash and you jump off of a ledge or something, you don't maintain that same movement speed when you get back, but you still have to wait for the dash cooldown to end. So you can get around that with a dash cancel. There was one frame there that I could jump towards Midna before she got there, and it saves about a second every time. There are several of those throughout the run, including like 2 coming up soon. I don't know, it's good to just mash for those. That one doesn't have one. It has to be after like a cutscene where Midna talks to you. Like this one. Nice, I got it. It's actually rare for me to get that one for some reason. Even though they're all 1 frame, it's the same. That one is the least likely for me to get. So this is the second save I'm going to be making on my way to Zelda. So the setup for the trick I'm doing later is done. Here's another 1 frame. Missed that one. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much faster it is if you do get it. It's like a second. So this is the Zelda cutscene. You can skip it, but basically I just made it to Zelda. Sorry, right there. So Sword and Shield skip is coming up. I'm going to focus a bit for it. But basically, it involves grabbing the attention of an enemy here, who is a Bolgwin. The speedrunning community here has named him passionately as Hugo. So we're gonna grab Hugo real quick. He's always in a different place depending on RNG. This is a fine place. Sometimes he has his back turned, like, all the way at the end of the room, and it's annoying. Like, it's actually horrible when that happens. So you can grab rupees on the way. It's always good to just grab whatever spare rupees you can without losing time, because we're gonna need 300 rupees later for the cannon repair. That'll get us into the third to final dungeon. So I'm gonna have Hugo follow me all the way over here, and I'm gonna manipulate his jumping. I'm gonna jump towards him when he's in the air, in order to skip the trigger where Midna tells me to go back and get the sword and shield, and instead fly into the trigger where Midna lets me into the Twilight. Ah, dang it, man. I had a feeling. That happens, you just start over by voiding out. I have to void out because his health is the same, and like if you attack him again he'll just die, so I can't attack him again. So I void out so I can reset his health. Sometimes I tend to rush this trick because I try to do it quickly, and that often, not always, but it sometimes messes me up. Because I go for a bad position or a bad angle. Like, angle, position, and timing all matter with this trick. Very precise. That's a horrible angle I messed up. Oh, man. What? Come on, man. Just wait. I'm gonna fail this like 5 times, and then estimate's gonna be freaking 4 hours. I'm better than this. I got the bad RNG this time. Oh no, you noticed me. Good. Alright. I wish I did. I hope I get a heart somewhere. Why do I keep missing them? I'm jumping too fast. Okay. I'm gonna be really careful here. I don't want to just like sit here for an hour trying to do this. Obviously that won't happen, but... That's Sword and Shield skip, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the fair in Twilight. I said fair. Dang it. We're in the fair in Twilight now. So that's basically how you can manage to proceed with the game after doing back in time glitch. If it weren't for Hugo, back in time glitch wouldn't be a part of the route, and the game would be slower. So thanks, Hugo. It's impossible to kill all 3 of these guys, even if the game normally would kill them. I need to get this attack from Midna, which is extremely useful later anyway. It's definitely, like, it's really useful. We're not going to bother to get these tiers that you're normally supposed to collect in this Twilight to get rid of it. You can skip it. There's one frame there where you can start dashing right away before Midna stops you for a second. I actually always try to time this frame. So that's what it looks like. I'm gonna be doing a neat trick in a second, after this room. So I'm just gonna be jumping across this this area of fog. If I'm to fall in the fog, I would void out and start over, which would be dumb. I've actually done that in a PB before. Like I said, we'll be ignoring these bugs. There are 3 Twilight realms in this game where you clear out with bugs. This is the only one we skip. The other ones you have to do. My health was a really bad situation for this. I should have gotten Heart's Fist. this enemy can do 2 swings based on luck, you want him to do the slow swing. Otherwise this trick won't work. And if he does the slow swing, it's better to just get hit by... I mean the fast swing. If he does the fast one, it's better to just get hit by him than to kill him, because if you kill him, you're gonna have to kill one of the other guys in order to revive him. So we're in the Sacred Grove now, way earlier than we should be. And we're just going to be chasing this Skull Kid for a bit and attacking him. After this Skull Kid's cutscene ends, you can do a cool jump off of that ledge and manage to land, not in the water, but on the ground, which is nice. Just a little thing. We're gonna be chasing him down one more time, and then there's a little fight you have with him. After that, we'll be able to get the Master Sword. We haven't even completed a single dungeon. Normally, you're supposed to complete 3 dungeons before getting the Master Sword, which will allow us to transform whenever we want, and warp whenever we want. Super early. Super, super convenient. So now he's going to run off to his little battlefield, and we're going to just follow him there. So basically when this fight starts, he's going to blow his horn. You only want to attack him when he's blowing his horn, otherwise he'll teleport away, which is slow. So from here on out, we're going to have to kill at least one of the puppets right away, because he doesn't blow his horn until one of the puppets are dead. And then when one of them dies, he blows his horn after a second. And that's when you can attack him. We're going to be doing that one more time. I'm just grabbing rupees whenever they drop. Every rupee basically helps. Like, it really adds up to getting the 300 needed. About 2 hours into the run. Could have grabbed that one, but I just didn't see it in time. 8's fine. So here's that puzzle that a lot of people Googled the solution to for their first playthrough, myself included. But it's actually a pretty easy solution to memorize. I always just do it by muscle memory now. So that's done. We are just gonna grab the Master Sword now. It's a 2-minute long cutscene when you get it, but after that we can just warp away and move on to getting the boomerang from the Forest Temple, an extremely useful item, especially in this run. And you'll see why. Normally Min is supposed to be there in that cutscene, but it's a little bit glitched out. From here on out, it's normal.
Yep.
Basically, what Min is telling me here is, I can warp and transform now whenever I want, and she wants me to help her find something called the Mirror of Twilight, story-wise, and that's something we'll be getting to later. Link's just like, yeah, okay, I'll help you out. So now we can warp. And just leave. We're gonna be going back the way where we got the Master Sword, but we're going to be doing that glitch that I set up before with the saving. It's coming up right here. So I'm going to stop here and save the game, go back into a different file, and then do a trick. And what this trick is going to do is it's going to affect the game's memory, and it's going to set a flag from 0 to 1 that basically associates with boss fights, and going into them early. And this also gives me all 4 of the first monkeys in the Forest Temple right off the bat, so I can just go straight to getting the boomerang. So I'm going to load this file now that I made after Bo's house, and this will happen. That's what does the memory thing. We can just roll through this fog using the lantern. Hello? He's not looking at me. There we go. I have to kill them at the same time, or they will all come back to life. So, in the first room of this dungeon, there are some spiders on a vine wall that you're supposed to climb up, and the spiders will usually get in your way. And you're normally supposed to shoot them down with a slingshot, but we skipped getting that item, so what we're gonna do instead is throw this rock at them. I'm gonna use 2 rocks. And you have to do it from a certain spot so that the rock doesn't just break on the wall. They often miss the spiders if you do it wrong. But if you do it from the right position, it pretty much always hits. There's one, grab the second one. Got it. I didn't light it. What? So you'll see that I have all 4 monkeys when I open this door. They just appear out of nowhere. And we can just go straight to the boomerang because the monkeys are here to form a line. We can just swing across. So this is the mini-boss fight, Ook. He's the fight you get the boomerang from. So basically, he's going to hop a couple times, and if we're lucky, that'll be the most he hops. So that's 4. That's fine. Then he swings the boomerang at you, and you can hit him. Since I have the Master Sword early, I can do way more damage, and it's actually able to one-cycle him rather than 2. So this item is pretty magical. You will definitely see how. It's absolutely magical. I'm going to explain something I'm going to be doing in a second. Basically, we want to get to Hyrule Field, which is the main overworld for this game. But Midna won't let us get there unless we both clear the Twilight and defeat the boss of this forest temple. We're going to do neither of those things. So, how do we skip the trigger that causes Midna to come out and tell us to go back? You'll see. It involves the boomerang. You might already have a good idea of what it does, but I'm gonna do it in a second. So this is the entrance to Hyrule Field. To get there, I use a setup to find the right position. You have to do it from a very specific spot. And do this. Nice, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. And jump an extremely long distance, and you can barely clear the trigger. We're gonna be doing that and another one of those in a second here to skip the mailman. The mailman has a trigger here where he'll run up to you and give you a letter, but that's slow. So we're gonna do this. that completely clears the mailman's trigger. So I'm entering this Twilight realm now, which is Elven. The first thing we're going to do here is activate the warp portal for Kakariko Gorge. And there's one frame after you kill the beasts for the portal. There's a 1 frame gap between that cutscene and a cutscene after that where Midna forces you to warp out and go to Farron again. If I can hit on that 1 frame a jump attack, I will void out, and that saves me a lot of backtracking because I can go straight to the Kakariko Village portal, save myself some backtracking later using Gorge Skip, which basically jumps over this entire massive gap. We're not even going to the third village. You can't do that unless you clear Twilight anyway, so I'm gonna go for this frame here. It's a jump attack. So that's what Gorge Void looks like. 1 frame where you can do a jump attack. I always time it. It's best to time it rather than mash for it, because timing it actually makes it way more consistent. There's a great visual cue for it. So depending on whether or not you get it, there's a little bit of a route split. It merges again later, but the route kind of changes. Basically just the order of things you do is different. But this is Gorge Skip that I'm doing right now. I am very bad at this game. I think either I jumped too early, or I aimed a little bit too low. I'm willing to bet that I jumped too early. In the case of that happening, I just save the game, go back into it, because you need that rupee cutscene in order for this trick to work. And the cutscene does not play again if you already got that rupee in that save file session. So like you can just leave the game, go back into the file, and that cutscene will happen again, which is required. So I stand in a specific spot here. Get my boomerang out. That was weird aiming. Okay. This is fine. So that's what it looks like. You get on top of the fence, the cutscene lets you stay there, and then you can actually roll to the other side. And I'm going to be doing some movement here to get to a certain spot. And from here on out, I can just do a long jump attack with the boomerang. That's what it's called, LJA for short. And clear the whole entire gap. So that's what Gorge Skip looks like. Now we're going to be making our way to Kakariko Village here, and we can just grab the portal there real quick so we don't have to backtrack there later. That's basically the benefit that Gorge Void gives you, is you can come here right away, get that taken care of, so you don't have to do an extra backtrack. And, if you miss Gorge Void, you actually have to go through that escape trick I did in Farron Woods 3 times rather than 2. But we'll only be having to do 2 here. So, once I take care of these guys, I'm not going to grab the tier vessel quite yet. That'll come later. I'm just going to leave instead, purposefully run into the trigger that I skipped earlier with 1 frame, and Minna will warp me away and I can split the route from there. So we're just going to run out. We're not getting that vessel yet. Also, the reason I was hugging the wall earlier after I dug out from under that gate is because when you do back in time glitch, there's a trigger there that takes you into the King Boblin fight, and that kind of messes it up. So you can just kind of go around instead of going through, and you'll avoid it pretty easily. It's not a huge trigger. You just want to hug the wall. What's funny about this is, Minna's wondering why the bridge is gone, but we're already on the other side. Of course, she doesn't know that. Yeah, Midna's not really programmed to know anything there. We're never going to fix that bridge. So this is the second and final time we're doing that trick where you jump over the trigger to get to Hyrule Field. It's definitely easy with the setup, and the setup makes me feel way more confident with this trick because it's actually it's difficult for me, at least, to stay human and just step on the right spot. It's on and off for me, but I just trust this setup way more. It's really useful. And people have watched me do that setup. It was originally created by SVA, some of you may know him. He's a very good Zelda runner. Oh wait, I didn't need to transform there. I'm being kind of slow here because I forgot, but it's all good. Most of the time I lost that there was probably like half a second. Didn't lose much time. Alright, so if you guys want, you can make some bets here. Number between, like, say, 1 and 20 on how many bonks this will take. This is a trick that requires a certain amount of bonks to clip through a gate using Epona. Dark Area says 9. 2 bonk. That's really good. Happens to the last marathon I did with this run also was a 2 bonk. So that's pretty funny. 2 bonk's really, really good. It's second best because, of course, 1 bonk is the best possible outcome, but 2 bonk is like basically no different. It's super good. You just don't want to get over like 10. This is a cool trick, and I'm gonna focus for it real quick. I messed this up 3 times in my last marathon run. I'm going to avenge myself here. With this trick, you can barely make it into the Lake Bed Temple trigger early before you drown, which is absolutely sick. So yeah, that was first try. I'm happy about that. I managed to perfect my setup. That was actually like a perfect pillar clip. I can't complain about that at all. So, the reason I save and quit was because if you get early Master Sword, saving and quitting there brings you to this room instead, and I don't have to worry about that underwater tunnel where I would drown otherwise. There's no way to get through that tunnel unless you have water bombs, and you don't even do that in this run anyway. Normally you're supposed to have bomb arrows to blow these stalactites up and have them fall down so you can climb. Or you can, once again, just use this boomerang, which is pretty cool. So that's how you cross this, with the boomerang. And we're going to be doing another cool boomerang trick in like 2 seconds. It's called a double LJA. And the name is just what it sounds like. It's a double jump, kind of. You'll see what I mean. That's what that looks like. It's a pretty cool trick. Can't roll up these stairs or you'll bonk every time. So you just do whatever. We're grabbing Uku here. Uku is a super messed up looking character in this game, but extremely useful. Because we're not going to complete the dungeon while we're here right now, even though we will later. We're just here for the claw shot, as of currently. Uku is going to let us leave the Lake Bed Temple and then come back to it, which is required. We're not going to be able to do Pillar Clip again. Once the water has been restored to Lake Hylia, the water level will just be way too high for that to work. Before drowning, of course. So another effect that I did, the glitch that gave me the monkeys in the Forest Temple early, also lets me fight Deku Toad, which is the mini-boss here. You can fight him early by just looking up at the ceiling, because boss fights are kind of activated early, if that makes any sense. You're not supposed to be able to look up and start the fight yet, but with this trick you can. So you have to kill all those toads before he goes to the ceiling. You can make him come down faster by just going into C-up for a second, which is weird. I'm surprised that worked. I went into a combo on the last part, but it still freaking killed him. I guess I was fast enough for that to work. But basically, if you swing your sword fast enough, but not too fast, you can hit his tongue with your Master Sword 10 times and kill him in one cycle. It's all good. I've got my own timer too. If you guys need an accurate time at the end, I've got mine. I'll be able to tell you what it is. I'm doing a save and quit here so that I can go to the first room of the dungeon again and use Uku there, because this is where I want to come back to later. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, real quick, knock out all of the Twilight realms and getting their tears. That'll be finished in like around 20 minutes. So not much goes on in this part of the run. It's mostly just like taking care of the Twilight areas. And then after that, we start knocking out dungeons. So this is, in my opinion, it's not the most entertaining part of the run. Like, doing Lanayru and Elden Twilight is just kind of it's the part you have to do. And there aren't very many glitches. There are some glitches that are pretty cool, but not as many as other parts of this game. Like, this is a glitch right here that I'm about to do. Basically, there's this guy you have to kill, and he starts riding on this bird, and the fastest way to take care of this, thanks to the early Master Sword, we can transform into a human down here. Wait for the bird to come at us, and then we can go underwater and actually have the bird follow us under the water, and he will drown the rider. When the rider dies, he just explodes under the water and the fight ends instantly. That's how that goes. So that's done. That's the fastest way to do that fight. It's pretty cool. There aren't many glitches. Oh yeah, I kind of contradicted myself there. I'm gonna transform into a wolf once again, so that this flight does not get messed up. If you forget to, I have done this several times by the way, if you forget to transform back into a wolf after drowning the rider, the bird will just keep going, and then suddenly the camera gets all messed up, and the game respawns you way out of bounds in a super white area, like just white everywhere, and it kind of messes you up. You have to transform into a wolf then, and jump into the water, get prompted by Midna to try again, and then you can start normally. But that is a lot slower, and I just need to not forget to transform back into a wolf, which I'm getting better at. It's a process. I just have to learn to be good. Water is a lot of people's weaknesses. Like half the time I can't freaking drink water without choking on it, to be honest. I almost freaking bumped into a wall there. That would have sucked a lot. here's how the hitbox works for this bird. You can hit a wall with your wings. Your your hitbox actually gets much wider the wider your wingspan is. So basically, he flaps his wings, and your hitbox changes with that. Funny enough, and you want to be able to adjust to that. You just don't want to hit a wall directly with the main body of the bird, but the wings are usually fine. It just kind of bonks him to the side, but he doesn't let go of Link. So here we're just going to be scaling this this ice area in order to get to Zora's domain and get the portal there, which we'll come back for. After that, we're going to finally get the Elden Vessel and take care of the Twilight there. Once that's done, we will get the Lanayru Vessel and take care of that Twilight. And then we'll start to do more cool stuff. And there are still several strats kind of spread out. Elden Twilight has a really cool one in my opinion that you guys probably won't expect. What I'm doing here is I'm basically getting those first two guys close together so that when I need to kill them finally after that lone guy, it's fast. Link can just take care of them both really quickly. You don't want to leave one standing. Like, you'd have to kill the last two at the same time in order for it to not revive all of them. That's the case for every single one of those. So here we are back in Kakariko Village. We're going to get the vessel. What I just did there was I killed a bug and waited for it to explode before I clipped into that well as a human, so that when I get back out, I'm going to come out the same way. The tier will already be out and ready for me to collect. That's a good way to kill all three of these bugs in the same attack, which is really nice and fast. So as you can see, that tier's already there. I didn't have to wait for it to spawn, so it was just ready to go. And now I'm going to go into Malamart, basically the best place in this game. Sadly, you don't get to enjoy the music in this run. But yeah, this is what will be Malamart. That's how I manipulate the bug in here. If you bonk the wall on the left and then just target it, it comes down towards you, which is really nice. Did the hand shoot laser beams from it? Which hand are you talking about? I'm confused. Another somewhat of a bug manip here, so that it comes down here instead of up on that shelf. Oh, Midna's hand on Wolf Link's back. It doesn't really shoot a laser. I don't know. I think Midna just like weird to explain. I did not mean to do that. I was dash canceling incorrectly. It's all good. You just go like this. This makes it so you don't lose speed as you jump across these routes, because normally if you dashed and then jump across one, you would lose all of your speed when landing on the second one. And that's annoying. But dash canceling fixes that. It always takes a second for an exploded tier to become collectible, so you can just like get rupees during that downtime. So yeah, basically what that did was like the way you move relative to a bug can affect where it goes. And there are a lot of ways to manipulate bug movement using this and use it to your advantage. So basically the movement I was doing in that basement where I got the 3 bugs was somewhat specific, so I knew how to get the bugs to go where I wanted them to go. Here's that cool trick I was talking about earlier. This is called Bomb House Skip. That's what that does. Normally, you're supposed to chase that bug. That bug is not even supposed to be killable that I just did. What I did was I used that LJA to go around a cutscene trigger. The cutscene is where the bug flies into the house, and then you have to follow it in there. But if you somehow manage to kill it before it even gets inside the house, the game thinks that you've already blown up the house, which you're supposed to do, and all the tiers just instantly become collectible. Super nice. One of the bigger time saves in this segment for sure. I did a side hop to grab that rupee. If you're in the air, when you grab a rupee, that would normally give you a cutscene. The game waits a second, and if you're in the air long enough, the rupee you just get the rupee without having to go through a cutscene. So that's why I did the side hop. And I do that several times later in the run with 2 orange rupees. You get 2 orange rupees in Snow Peak. That will contribute to getting the 300 a lot. The 300 you need for the cannon, and then you get the rest in Arbiters from Reds, which are worth 20 rupees each. Each orange rupee is worth 100. This is a quick climb. There are a few specific ledges in this game that you can climb in a specific angle, and it skips the climbing animation. I'm gonna grab this tier by standing here, and then just keep going. I don't know how I ran into that. Nice hitbox. I'm gonna kill this guy right now. Get these 2 guys close together while I take care of this one. That's basically the best strategy for making sure nothing wrong happens during this. Because there are 4 of them instead of 3. And there's one in this run that will have 5, but it's not even a problem. Like, there's a strategy for that one too. Missed that. Nice. Come over here. Please. Ah! That was bad. If you do it quickly enough, you can make an early cycle before that stream turns on and like knocks you down. You have to collect the tier really quickly though. So that's what I try to do. I guess I just missed it that time. So that's Elman. We're done with those tiers now. We're gonna head on to Lineru and finish those ones. And then that is all the Twilight in the game. Unless you count Palace of Twilight, but that doesn't involve tiers. What we're gonna do here is, since Death Mountain is taken care of, and we can come here now, and we also have the Zor's Domain portal, we can just grab the massive lava rock that will fall right here. This is what's going to smash all of the frozen water in Zor's Domain and restore the, you know, the water flow to Lake Hylia, which you need for the vessel. And I'm going to do this as a human so that I can skip a cutscene in Zor's Domain where the ghost of Queen Rotella comes up and tells you to save her son, which you never see in this run. You just skip all of that entire side quest. It's not even a side quest, it's part of the main quest, but yeah, you know what I mean. So you can simply skip her by just going under the water, which you wouldn't be able to do as a wolf anyway, so you just do that and you can go underneath it easily. We have the linear vessel now. We're just gonna grab all the bugs now. Get that done. So these are the Lake Hylia beasts for the Lake Hylia portal, which is important. It's very important. And I'm going to get a second bug here, and then leave. I'm going to come back to Lake Hylia later to get the rest of the bugs here. But after this one, we're going to start doing Zor's Domain bugs. More bug manip here. I have to bonk this wall for the bug to get off of it, and then I can go over here, turn the camera around, manipulate him by doing like this. He'll stop right there, and I can easily... What? That always hits it. What the hell? Weird. I don't know what I did there. That's funny. Another Rotella skip. There's a trick here called waterfall side hop. It's about 3 or 4 frames. But I'm gonna do a side hop out of the waterfall and land on a platform. That's what it looks like. This allows you to get a bug here really quickly. Now we're gonna do some, there are 2 bugs on these lily pads. They can be sketchy sometimes, but it usually works if you just like, you jump good. Can't climb. So great kills, okay collection. So kill this one. That's the last bug in Zor's Domain. I managed to grab some pretty good amount of rupees there. 44 rupees is pretty good here. So I should be totally set already when it comes to random rupees drops. But I'm gonna collect them anyway. Because why not? I mean, it could only help. I can just kill this bug quickly by basically mashing A. I'm getting so many rupees, man. I almost have 50. Ridiculous. So I'm going to enter North Hyrule Field here. Zooming out reduces lag. So that's what I'm going to do. So basically what we're doing now is we're heading towards Castletown. There's a bug there that we need, and you have to run the whole way there. And then after that, we'll take care of the rest of the bugs in Lake Hylia, and we'll be done with this segment. These beasts are somewhat similar to Lake Hylia's. Once again, they're all really far apart and in like a triangle kind of shape. So that can make it kind of awkward sometimes, but I have ways to get around it, so it works. And using dash canceling in Castletown is actually faster than normal dashing because dashing here is actually extremely slow. Like, I'll show you how slow dashing is here. It barely increases his movement speed, but if I go like this the whole time, he actually moves faster. I did some bug minute there as well. If you hit the box at a certain angle, the bug will go to the left instead of like attacking you. And that stops its shockwave much quicker, and you can just attack it instantly. It's really nice. Now we're going to get the bug behind this cannon. The game is really lenient about howling. Like, you can mess around with it a lot and it'll usually still work unless you do it a ton. So, there are two more on this river that I'm going to grab real quick, and then after that I'm going to purposefully bonk myself against the wall and go back to Lake Hylia by pressing no when Minna asks me if I want to try again. And that actually takes me conveniently right to the spot where the last bug is, before the boss bug. I spawn right next to it. Otherwise, you would have to swim across this whole thing. This is on the opposite side of Lake Hylia, like away from everything. So now we're going to take care of this final one, which is massive. It's a boss fight, kind of. And it has some strategies to go fast. So by standing on the edge of this board, I'm kind of manipulating where it goes. So it comes at me when I want it to, like this. And then I can actually do that, and oh, I bounced off. That wasn't supposed to happen, but yeah, had I gone a little bit later, I could have made it so he couldn't get away. Usually he flies away for a bit before he comes at you again. But you can stop him from getting away to do that properly. Okay, I should be able to get this one. Why both times? I was doing fine. The game doesn't like me right now. I was probably going a little bit too early both times. And that's a fast way to do the final hit. Normally you're supposed to do it from the middle, and Link will just kind of jump around across his legs for a second before he dies, but if you go to the very side of him and bonk into him that way, it actually just kills him instantly. So all the Twilight's done. The boring parts are over. We're gonna go to Zor's domain and head down to where Iza is. And we're going to get a bomb bag from her. Through an unintended way. When you help out Iza, she asks you to help her blow up some rocks that are blocking her river minigame. But instead of doing that, like, she gives you a length bomb bag to help her out with that. But instead of helping her out, we're just going to steal the bomb bag by using Uku, which you're not supposed to be able to do. But yeah, Uku's able to just let you take it. And then that'll take us to Lakebed Temple. We're gonna empty out all of the normal bombs from the bomb bag, and once they're all empty, we're gonna replace them with water bombs. Water bombs are very crucial to this run. The reason we're howling here is so that we can spawn a golden wolf where we want it to, and that'll let us get the ending blow. Since we skipped getting the ending blow the intended way, we're just going to get it with another howling stone. You need the ending blow for one thing in this game, and that's to kill Ganondorf at the end. If you don't have the ending blow when you get there, you actually can't deal the final blow to Ganondorf. Which is the reason the game forces you to get that first hidden skill. So a bunch of beasts are gonna spawn here. And they're very easy to kill. Iza's going to take us to the lodge, and then you can just take the bomb bag from her. So this is the fastest way to take care of getting rid of these bombs. You just drop them into this pool, and they disappear instantly. Normally you can only have 3 bombs out at the same time before they explode, but if you dispose of them instantly, you can just keep dropping them. And then you can open this chest, get some water bombs, and we're going to use Uku to get back out again. Next time we come here will be when we complete the dungeon. You have to kill the boss of Lakebed Temple in order to proceed with the game and actually get to Arbiter's Grounds, which you need for the mirrored portal. So we're gonna use this Lent bomb bag. It's a temporary bomb bag. The Lent bomb bag disappears from your inventory if you either save or defeat Morpheal. Or any boss, really. So we need to use this bomb bag to get ourselves a permanent bomb bag that won't go away. And we're gonna get it from this Goron. He's trapped inside of this big rock and you can blow it up. And he helps you out. I talked to a freaking Zora. So what I just did there was I did the swimming with water bombs glitch. If you do the motion, like if you pull out a water bomb using, so you're standing at the bottom of the water, you pull out a water bomb. Link has a little animation he does as he pulls out the bomb before it actually shows up. And what you want to do with that is you can force unequip your iron boots as he's doing that animation. Oh, I kind of lost my control board here. Shoot. I'm slow. The GameCube D-pad is actually terrible. Oh wow. I think I was a little bit too fast. Minna didn't give me the option to warp yet. Alright, so I messed that up, but I'll just go back to it. Anyway, I was explaining Rocket Link. So yeah, that's a glitch you can do to start holding the water bomb as you're rising in the water. And if you press A after a second, you can refill your air meter. And so you never drown if you do it right. But if you don't wait a second and you press A right when the bomb shows up, you rocket to the surface of the water you're in. Which is pretty neat. What I just did is, I pressed the button that calls Minna, Z, and right on the D-pad to open the map at the same time, on the same frame. And if you do that, you can select a place to warp, and Link will start warping, but before he does, Minna interrupts it. And so you never warp. And what that does is it actually removes all of the loading zones from the area you're in. This is called map glitch. So if I do that here, I can run through Snow Peak without getting voided out. Because you're normally supposed to come here way later when you have the Reedfish scent. And the game will just like throw you back to the beginning. Because you quote-unquote get lost. You know, if you go over the right path, the game will still like respawn you at the beginning because it doesn't want you to be here, of course, before you get that Reedfish scent. But map glitch removes all of those void outs. At the end of this area, there's a cave you dig into if you want to keep going to Snow Peak Ruins. And if you have map glitch on, that cave will actually crash you. So to get rid of map glitch, we're going to howl at this howling stone over here, which will take off map glitch. We don't have to howl a second time. You don't need the hidden skill. So this basically just loads the area again. So by that do you mean like just doing the Twilight Realm tiers in the intended order? And normally you go Farron and then Elden and then Lanayru. But there's a lot of sequence breaking going on here, and I didn't even need to do the Farron tiers. Oh wow. I'm gonna try not to get wrecked here. These keys are really after the aggro. Stop. Okay, I think we're good. That's not supposed to happen. What I just did was I used an LJA to jump really far off of the edge right there before I hit the portal, the trigger that spawns the beasts, where you get the Snow Peak portal from, which we won't be needing. So you can actually skip it using that because the game thinks you've fallen from that point, and it respawns you next to Yedo instead of at the door I came from. And that puts you in this cutscene right away. What this does, though, there's a side effect. The fog does not go away, so you actually end up snowboarding with fog in front of you. It's called blind snowboarding. Airtime is really good here. So we're at Snow Peak Ruins now. I'm just gonna grab some health here, and we are in the dungeon. We're not gonna complete this dungeon either. We're just here for the ball and chain. The ball and chain is important for one thing. You need it to defeat Xant in Palace of Twilight. That's the only reason you need the ball and chain. Go through the ceiling. I'm gonna use a trick to get a small key here, which I need to get somewhere. And I'm emptying these bombs out as I go, so that I can, again, replace them with water bombs later. Flip to the floor there, because this game is amazingly programmed. Simply by doing a jump attack. That is freezer skip, sorry. You can basically just clip behind that monster and enter the door from inside. Instantly take yourself to the mini-boss. This is where we get the ball and chain. And you can kill him really quickly if you place a bomb properly behind his tail. And the bomb does a lot of damage to him, and then you can finish it off with a quick jump attack, spin attack combo. Which is where you do a jump attack, and while you're in the air, you do a quick spin motion, and he does the spin right when he lands on the ground, and it's actually a very, very powerful combo. Especially at the end of the game. Oh, I landed on a table. Nice. The table did, I would have skipped that little orange rupee cutscene, but the table that I landed on made it so I didn't get enough airtime to do so. And now I'm going to get a second orange rupee before I leave Snow Peak. Just like this. Use Uku to go back to Lake Bed. This time, we're going to finish the dungeon and defeat the boss. The entire boss fight takes place underwater, which makes it interesting because you have to use water bomb swimming management to keep your air refilled and not die. Might be too far right. It's fine. Oh. Got the rock though. I'll just go like this. There we go. Oh. This is a quick way to dispose of just whatever bombs you have left. So now we have permanent water bombs. We're going to be using these 10 throughout the rest of the run. I don't know why I paused there. This is boss key skip. So we're basically going to just sink down to the boss, and thankfully, your air meter gives you just barely enough time to make it to the cutscene where the fight starts, and skipping the cutscene refills your air meter, which is super important. So before the eye went back into the boss, what I did was I pulled out a water bomb, of course when I equipped my boots, and so I'm swimming with a water bomb right now, and even though you can't tell at the moment, I'm rising in the water with a bomb in my hand. So when the cutscene ends, I will be pretty much level with more fuel. I'll be able to quickly latch onto the eye, and at the same time refill my air meter with the bomb I'm currently holding. Yeah, you do this whole fight without the Zora armor. You never get the Zora armor at all, unless you're doing no saving quit, I think. So that's how you quickly grab onto the first side. have to do this 4 times. Sorry, 3 times, not 4 times, that would suck. And you can do this with 2 water bombs only. I've already used the first one. There's Morphin Boom. Wow, that is a weird path for her to take. This should work. I did not quite get the 2 bomb. This will be a 3 bomb, I think. I got bad RNG. Morpheal kind of takes a random path, but she can only do so much randomly. So it's pretty easy to predict where she's going. Like I was able to stop her here and grab on. So this is good. Good 3 bomb. Good B2 bomb. I'm gonna get the regrab. This is actually a 4 bomb. So yeah, if there are pillar parts falling around you, that makes it harder to get a regrab. I will explain more about this fight once it's done. We stop. Morphin stop. Okay. Good. Don't eat me. She ate me. That's not a bad thing though. If Morpheal eats you, she spits you out, and then you can just like grab onto her eye really quickly, just like that. Really dumb Morpheal fight, but you know it works. So how the regrab works, what I was doing there was I was force unequipping my iron boots with the item menu right after I dealt the fourth hit on every single round, every cycle. Morpheal's always going to be a 3 cycle. And when you hit her the 4th time, she starts bobbing you off, and she swings you up into the water really high. You have to avoid that in order to not drown. And you can just force unequip your iron boots to quickly get off of Morpheal before she does that. And that can also lead into a regrab for the 3rd cycle. I missed it though because there were pillar parts everywhere and I couldn't get it. Grab that for later. Almost forgot. So, we're starting Minus Desperate Hour here. I really like the music here, for one. So this is about a 6 to 7 minute long segment. The goal is to get to Zelda, so that she can heal Midna. Yeah, seriously. Zelda does like 3 things in this game, and one of those things is fight you. One of those things is give you bad RNG during the fight. need to sneak across this room in here so that we can make it to the castle sewers through Giovanni's house. This just gets us into the sewers and the waterways. This is how you get to Zelda. So now we're in the castle part, kind of. We're able to climb this place once again. You have to kill this archer. That's the fastest way to do it. He just drowns in the water. But if you don't do that, then he snipes you down later. So you have to kill him. What the? I might as well roll with it. Didn't mean to walk across this. What? Oh. Ah. There we go. So that's the fastest way. You can just basically get up here, except for the mistakes I did. So I'm going to be using some good movement here so that I can make an early wind cycle. There's a bridge up ahead that moves up and down with the wind. You can only cross it once it's up. And if you're quick enough, you can make it before it drops down. Like that. Barely got it, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Well. Wait. Alright, now we're going to go to that golden wolf we saw earlier. And we're going to use him to get the ending blow real quick, which we need later. Hey, how's it going, Bread? So that's basically the only time you see Ocarina of Time Link during this run. Now we're gonna make our way to the desert. So Lake Hylia is where you do that. Pretty sure it's Ocarina of Time Link. At least I think it is. We're gonna climb this tower real quick. Ari was up there right now, and he is going to give us his memo, which we need to get to the desert through the cannon over there. I have to transform here so that I don't run into this area as a wolf. That will cause a cutscene to happen. So you want to transform before it. Alright, we're in the desert now. Zooming out here is really good for reducing lag. Saves like 6 seconds total. So normally you're supposed to attack these guys and steal the boar from them so that you can ride the boar through these barricades. But with the ball and chain, you're normally not supposed to have the ball and chain when you're here. But you can use it to just knock down the tower and then wedge yourself through this, and you don't even need to worry about them. You don't need a boar or anything. I'm gonna do map glitch again here, and you'll see why. So, all loading zones are gone now. You can kill this, not kill him. You can defeat him really quickly by just doing counterclockwise quick spins. Counterclockwise ones actually hit him an extra time each one than clockwise does, so it's best to do it with those ones. So we've made it to Arbiter's Grounds. Kind of forgot my equip for a second. Weird. Can't really aim right now. In this room, all you have to do is just light these two torches and then the door opens. It's pretty simple. Next up, we're going to be doing a trick called post skip. And it saves a lot of time because it skips having to kill the first Poe that appears in front of you. So basically how this works is the game assumes you've killed the first Poe already when you get the Poe scent, but you can still get the Poe scent from any of the 4 Poes. The game just only expects you to get it from the first one. If you do post skip, you can get it from, you can get the post skip from the Poe scent from the 4th one, and the game thinks you've already killed the first one, so it just ignores it, and you can open the door with only 3 of them killed. Use this. Those guys can mess you up if you don't kill them. This is a very precise trick, so I'm just going to focus on it for a sec. There we go. That's post skip. Sick gold split. Wrong item. So we're gonna get the Poe scent from this upcoming Poe here. There's a little bit of luck to what the Poe does. Sometimes he has to circle around you before he attacks you, which is when he's vulnerable to a hit. But sometimes he circles around you for a long time, and sometimes he does it for a short time. But there's a little bit of RNG manip to this, so I'm gonna do that. He's kind of taking a while right now. This is the RNG I was talking about. So that's the Poe center. The game now thinks that I've killed the first Poe. I'm going to push this 4 times so that it stays open and I can come back here later using this shortcut. Grab this rupee. So as you can see, the first Poe is still just sitting there, and you never like even kill him. He just sits there the whole time, and the game thinks that he's dead. We can take care of a redead really quickly by just doing this. Oh wait, no. Yes. There we go. This is the second Poe we're gonna kill. He's a little simpler to do. I missed that one. Slow. It's fine. One more Poe after this, and we can access the second part of the dungeon, which is a lot shorter than this one, actually. The Poe collecting here is definitely the longest part of Arbiter's. After that, you just go straight to the mini-boss, and then straight to the boss after that. They're very different in several ways. First off, GameCube is faster because it has the long jump attack glitch with the boomerang. The Wii can't do that trick. Or map glitch, or like anything like that. There is a route for speedrunning the Wii version, and there are people who do speedrun the Wii version. But it's basically like speedrunning 2 different games because the routes are much different from each other. And then there's the Wii U version, Twilight Princess HD, which has a totally different route from like both of them. Alright, that was the last Poe we need to kill. Also, fun fact, if you do Poe skip and, yeah, doing Poe skip would make it so you actually can't get all the Poes in the game. Even though you obviously don't need to. For any percent, at least. If you did Poe skip in Hundo, you wouldn't be able to finish it. Because that just, basically eliminates, after you, like, I don't know. I think after you open the door, I don't remember. Yeah, after you open the door, which is right here, the Poe disappears, and you can never find him again. So if you don't kill him, you can't get that soul, ever. This is early boss key. I think it was kind of an overlooked thing where Wolf-Link can just jump through sand that he would otherwise sink in just by hitting B. That's all you have to do to jump through sand, and you can actually do this because of it. You're not supposed to get the big key here. So we're basically going through this dungeon backwards in order to get to Death Sword faster. Death Sword is the mini-boss where you get the spinner. Yeah, I say basically a lot. Basically. Nice. You can use the ball and chain on this mini-boss to kill him faster. So it's pretty cool. Also, I need to equip ball and chain real quick. I forgot to do it again. And he's dead. I'm doing a save quit so I can get back to the beginning of the dungeon. I'll actually be able to get to the boss faster that way, rather than backtracking from the mini-boss room. Spin to win. What the? It went the other way for some reason. That's dumb. Alright, we're at the boss now. Star-Lord, there's luck involved in the first phase. You just kind of hope that you don't get wrecked by the random spawn of the knights that come out of the quicksand. And then the second phase is more timing and then execution. Oh, okay, that worked out in my favor. I got lucky there. Nice, dude. That was really good. Kind of lucky that that worked, but it did, so it's cool. Alright, so the second phase is, there's a strategy that saves a lot of time on the second phase. Normally, when you begin the phase, he knocks you off this tower that's about to rise up. He knocks you down to the bottom. And then you have to use the spinner to get on the track. And you ride it for a while before you catch up to him because he flies away. And then he shoots you a few times, you avoid it, and then you can finally knock him down and then attack him from there. This skip allows you to just knock him down instantly, which skips the whole part where you have to chase him on the spinner track. It's precise timing though, I'm going to try to get it with rolling. I have a strategy. That's what it looks like. Otherwise, had I missed it, he would have just flown away. And I would have had to chase him for a while before he caught up to him on the spinner track. It's a sick trick. Never skip leg day. So this is the portal that has 5 beasts come out of it. In this game, it never goes more than 5. Ah, he followed me. Get over here. Here we go. So after you kill those guys, normally you're supposed to go forward, and there's a statue right there. You'll see it in a second. That statue right there. You're supposed to use the spinner to get to the top and then raise the mirror from the ground, and then Minna discovers that's like, it's shattered. You have to go collect all the mirror shards and stuff, and you can actually, skipping that cutscene is fine. It doesn't, you can just skip it by zooming in on the map and activating the portals that way, because the game forgot to like make it so you can't do that. You're not supposed to, you're normally not supposed to be able to warp out of there, but zooming in on the map lets you for some reason. So you can actually skip that, and you can come back to it later after beating City in the Sky, and it still works. You can still go to Palace of Twilight.
Jdlinkmaster101.
So we have the cannon now, and we have all of the rupees we need for it. So we're good to go to City in the Sky. So we're just gonna ask this guy to repair it real quick. We're in the third to final dungeon now. It's got lots of cool stuff you do in it, like LJAs for days. That's the boss of the dungeon, by the way, that dragon over there. I'm gonna kill him later. What I'm about to do here is transform before I hit the door. And what this actually does is it skips a trigger. I looked up for a second just so you could see, that fan isn't going. It normally is supposed to go. This will let us get the boss key way faster in a bit. Dude, I did that by accident. What the heck? I'm in shock. That's amazing. So we're gonna get a small key in here. I'm gonna do a skip here. When I get in front of that door, the game starts a cutscene where the dragon comes down and destroys this bridge, and I can't come back later. But I just skipped it using that movement, and that saves backtracking later when I save and quit after getting the claw shot. The second one, I mean. You get a second claw shot in this dungeon, which is very important. Make sure the wind doesn't push me off here, so I just hold the direction so I don't fall. I just used one frame there to jump forward a little bit more. You can quick spin those guys and they'll just fall off the edge and die, and you can just claw shot up here and you're done. Uh-oh. Oh no. Too early. I should have waited a little bit longer before going. I just did it again. Nice. Wait, I should have used that to get back up. Shoot. I got a plan. I got a plan. It's gonna work. Nice. That saves a bunch of time because it skips having to flip a switch or pull on one. Alright, so we're going into the mini-boss room now. And there's this, the mini-boss's name is Araphos, and the trick is Araphos skip. There is exactly one pixel where you can aim at and skip the entire fight simply by claw-shotting a target from a very precise spot. I'm gonna see if I can get it first try, because I'm not a really big fan of this trick. But I have to get in position for it first, just by doing this. That'll wreck a run someday. I just can't do the aiming part, it's just hard. This trick bugs me. There it is. I got kind of lucky there and just stopped at the right time. The cutscene trigger for the bridge knockdown is no longer there, but I'm still gonna go around here. This is still faster most of the time than going around because if you leave the door that way, you have to deal with that big gap. I don't want this guy to bug me. Okay, so I'm gonna, since I skipped the fan trigger from the beginning of the dungeon, the fan's not going, so I can climb up here and clash it up here. This skips a ton of rooms and helps me get the boss key really quickly. Oh, nice. So, we don't need to turn the second fan on to make all the stuff rotate. I guess we can actually just skip that just fine. Go on. There we go. Even though these aren't spinning out here, we can get across by doing this. So that's a pretty cool trick. This is the final room in the dungeon before the boss. We're just gonna climb this big tower by claw-shotting up. I can actually go underneath this and make my way around and save some time that way. Like doing this is faster than staying on it and waiting for it to go all the way around. Uh-oh. No! I missed it. And we're just going to claw shot onto the target that leads to the boss door, and we are good to go. There's a strategy you can do for this first phase of the fight that skips, so basically you have to grab onto his tail with the iron boots on 2 cycles, and then you can move on to the second phase. And normally after you do the first one, he flies away for a while, and you have to climb all the way to the top to grab onto his tail the second time. But you can actually skip that if you're fast enough So I'm going to move down from here, and I'm going to quickly climb on, cloche onto the tower again, and that will make it so he doesn't have enough time to fly away. And I can just do the second time really quickly, like that, so he doesn't get away. Purposefully jump off the edge here. If you jump off the edge there, it makes it so that the dragon is already waiting for you at the top, rather than flying around first. That saves time. This is flame skip. That skips having to go around all the way before he stops breathing fire. And you can do that twice. The third cycle is a little bit different, but you can do a flame skip on every cycle. One and two are the same. The third one's a little bit different, like I said. So you do a little bit more cloche on, but it's really fast. That's it. The dragon is dead. So that's the That's how you leave the dungeon after completing it, and I'm going to mash B here with the iron boots on. And if you do that, you can actually land on this bridge. Normally, if you didn't do that, you would just land in the water, and that's slow because you would have to swim around and climb out of the water in order to just warp away. So that lets you warp faster. And like I said, the cutscene that lets you go to the Palace of Twilight can still play here, even though the mirror isn't raised. And you can just go to the next dungeon. So this is the second and final dungeon. So first we need to collect 2 souls, which are basically spheres of light. And we need to get 1 from each side of the dungeon for now. This is the left side we do first. We just get the soul from that. So you basically just get a lot of small keys in these parts so that you can go to the next room and then the next room. There's a cool little thing you can do here with this chest. Like that. It's faster than claw shutting up. So this is the first of 2 Phantom Zant fights. It's random where he spawns, but you can recycle him just by hitting him in a certain way each time, so he doesn't spawn enemies and he doesn't randomly spawn. So he'll always be trying to spawn enemies, which leaves him vulnerable. You can just recycle him. And it's the same case for the second one. If you grab that fast enough, it skips a midnight cutscene. And we're just gonna take this light sphere back to the first room, and we'll do the same thing for the second one on the other wing of the dungeon. That's a cool little thing you can do. While claw-shotting something towards you, you can slide in any direction. If you just hold the direction and then hold L. That was a mistake. There's a strat you can do that's a little bit faster, but I don't feel like it's worth really going for all the time. This is the second Phantom Stamp fight, and you just do the same thing. That was lucky. It spawned right in front of me. After I take this ball to the main room, my sword will get upgraded and it will be my sword will be filled with light, and then I can one-shot everything in this dungeon. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry over to the final dungeon. I wish it did. Nice. I jumped too early. Don't worry, the hand won't get it. He missed it. That wasn't even me. Oh yeah, the ball was rolling. That makes sense. Watch this, it's gonna be funny. He's just like so stupid. I can stun him with the freaking claw shot. He's such a terrible enemy. Wow. He's so slow. This is hilarious. Alright, I'm gonna get back here. It is kind of a creepy enemy, but it's a really weak one. Also really slow. So we're gonna head to Zant now, the boss, and we're gonna get the boss key on the way. So I'm about to do a trick that helps me get the boss key faster. Basically, there's this massive invisible wall. Kind of invisible wall, yeah. And you can claw shot through it at a very specific spot, which will save you some claw shotting time. There are a lot of birds in this room, like 50 of them, and they just kind of try to swarm you. They're really annoying, but you can just kill them all in like one hit, which is ridiculous. But sometimes they can like be annoying by pushing you and stuff. So the reason I voided out there was so that I could come back here quickly and deal with the rest of these guys who only spawn after you kill the first one. There's a trick called early platform coming up. In the next room, around the top, there is a platform going back and forth slowly. And if you go quickly enough, you can make it to that platform before it gets away from you. If you miss it, you have to wait for it to come back, and it's slow. What? Oh no. Well, there goes the early platform. I don't know what caused that. You're supposed to go out of bounds like that, and then it works. Judging by where it's at, it should be able to get to me around when I get there. So that's fine. Yeah, totally did. I might be on top of it. Look at that, it's cool. Cool LJA you can do here. Alright, we're almost to the boss, which is Zent. Zent has a lot of strategies because he has a lot of phases. So I'm just, for a second, I'm gonna go back and forth and just kill these guys. Funny thing is, you can do a quick spin or a spin attack and just kill them before they even hit the ground. They have massive hitboxes for when they're falling. Yeah, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, I forgot that was the last one. Okay, this is the boss. Oh yeah, funny dances for days. Every single phase of this fight, though, has some sort of strategy. Which I think is pretty neat. It's pretty neat about this boss. This one in particular has quite a strat. It's called the one cycle, and it's precisely timed. I got it, that's the one cycle. You have to time your attacks, like, somewhat precisely for that to work. as for this phase, we're once again, like Morpheal, going to be using water bombs to stay alive. It's the right one, so I can tell that he's either going to be in the left or the right one by the way the mask moves. And then you can just finish him off like that. Now he's going to transport me to the mini-boss room of the Force Temple. As I just unequip the boots and replace it with ball and chain. Go in here. Roll into this. Do a fast sword combo. That's how that goes. Now he's going to take me to the boss room of the Snow Peak Ruins, which I was actually never in. Unless you do all dungeons. Just throw this at his foot. This is the reason that ball and chain is required to beat the game. Okay, this is going to be a 3-cycle. That was really, really bad. Ice physics are horrible. I'm gonna have to hit him with a jump attack. Yeah, no 2-cycle because I am terrible. Man, that ice sliding was just really not my favorite the first time. I'm literally gonna have to hit him once and that's it. Alright, this is the final phase of the fight. Basically, I only want to hit it with the 4th hit of every combo. And so it takes, I'm timing it so that it moves. Like that. And he's dead. Bunny dance. Alright, now we are headed to the final dungeon of the game. Hyrule Castle. Alright, we're gonna do one more mailman skip. This is the second one we're running. Maybe off. Oh, I guess it works. That's good. So there's a big barrier in front of Hyrule Castle right now. I skipped the cutscene where it formed, but it formed after Midna's Desperate Hour. And basically, now that Midna has gotten all the few shadows back from Zant, she is going to destroy this barrier in this cutscene. Don't worry, we're not gonna fight Midna. But yeah, she destroyed this barrier. Now we can go to Hyrule Castle and beat the game. We're gonna use a bomb here to get rid of all these guys at once. And we're gonna skip a barrier here. All you have to do is skip the cutscene really fast, and then run to the right, and the barrier doesn't even form for a bit, so you can just get outside of it. You can skip this cutscene with one frame if you get a backflip and then pause after that. In that case, you would save quit and then go back to the beginning. That would save time, but if you don't get it, then you just backtrack. Skip a barrier here. Oh wait, he caught up. What the heck? Yeah. This is the Dark Nut fight. We're gonna use our last water bomb here to dispose of the enemies in this room. Now we're gonna fight an Arialphos and kill him fast. Now we're going to go grab the boss key, which you watch a cutscene for. Link hasn't even seen most of these guys in this run, so he probably doesn't even know who they are, except for Aru, who's holding the bazooka. Normally in this room, you're supposed to transform into a wolf and use your senses to see, like, ghosts of knights pointing the right way. Or you can just walk diagonally. Which way works? get extremely overlooked in the game. All you have to do is stand there and literally just claw shot that, and you can skip this dark net. Took a surprisingly long time for us to discover that, until it was finally found, and the person who found it was like, "How come we aren't doing this?" Got once again to split. Oh man, that could have been a gold, I bet. Alright, so this is the Zelda pump fight. She can have a minimum of 7 attack cycles, which is fastest. And you want her to use 3 electric spheres. So if she starts with 1, that's a good sign, that you'll get a 7th cycle. But not always. I'm looking down here because it reduces the lag from that attack. Bad luck. So that's that fight, and we're gonna move on to the Beast Ganon cycle. Not cycle. Beast Ganon phase of this final boss. I'm gonna use the ball and chain instead of the bow because I don't have the bow, and I'm just gonna knock him down with it. Basically, in these first 2 cycles, I'm doing the most possible damage I can do to him before he gets up. So on the 3rd cycle, when I knock him over as a wolf, all I have to do is just like hit him with B, and then he dies. And also it manipulates his RNG, so he just comes out instantly on the first portal like that. Very, very good strat. The next phase is horseback. Dude, I can't talk. Okay, I basically have to hit him with 3 quick spins, or no, not quick spins, spin attacks, sorry, on my horse. And Zelda has to shoot him with light arrows each time. So I have to follow him while targeting him kind of closely to make sure I don't fall off. So I just have to follow his movements kind of carefully. Sometimes he makes really sharp turns and it can throw you off. Like that. Twice, wow. That's amazing. Alright, so we are moving on to the final battle now. After this cutscene. It's actually the fastest one, too. The final phase of this fight is by far the fastest one. And you'll see why. Alright, so as a heads up, time is when I knock him down for the third time, and Link does a flip into the air, and time is when the sword lands on him for the final blow. Time.
Uh, 309:45.
That is Twilight Princess, ladies and gentlemen. Done in 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 43 seconds.
Alright, cool. You got any last words you want to say or anything like that?
What was that, sorry?
You got anything you want to say since the run's ended?
Yeah, is there time for me to do, like, one quick thing that might make everyone laugh?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Alright, I think you guys will enjoy this. I made a save before, so it'd be fast. But here it is, you guys enjoy. Okay, so yeah, the game is basically trying to render Link as a wolf when he's not supposed to be a human. Early Master Sword is just truly magical. The funny thing is also that the Master Sword is currently impaling him in the chest, and Zelda's telling him to go get it. Like, this is the intended point in the game that you would start getting the Master Sword. Even though in the run you've gotten it like an hour ago. It's the best part. Okay, so that's basically it for that cutscene. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry about skipping Ganon's cool death. I wanted there to be time for this because it's freaking hilarious. Alright, so that's all I've got.
Alright, so we'll go to intermission then while we set up for the next race, or run, whatever it is.